Just as there are different kinds of cancer and heart disease, there are also different kinds of MS. And like cancer and heart disease, some forms of MS are more severe than others.
Well, the most common way that MS manifests is as a relapsing remitting disease, and that usually affects people between the ages of 20 and 40. And that's characterized by periods where there's inflammation and demyelination that occurs in the nervous system, producing a relapse or attack of symptoms.
But my attacks were, they would sort of, it would be over a period of probably about a week where I was just feeling unwell, and at that time I was very busy at work, not a lot of sleep. It started off with basically just getting really run down, getting a cold, and then just sort of series of things where you're just starting to feel really unwell, then starting to feel nauseous, and basically led up to that. So now, knowing what I know now, you can almost stop it in its tracks, or at least I try to say I can stop it in its tracks.
The other main type of MS at onset is something called primary progressive MS, and that's the type that tends to affect people when they're a little bit older, often over 40, and that's more of a gradual deterioration or a gradual progression of symptoms rather than attacks.
I have primary progressive. So I have my attacks, but I just steadily go downhill.
Now, some people with relapsing remitting MS over time will develop a progressive form of the disease as well. And when that happens is really different for everybody, and it doesn't happen to everybody. So it's quite a varied disease in different people.
It may take years for you and your doctor to determine your MS category as you watch for a pattern of attacks and symptom progression.
Well, I don't have remissions. It's a very slow progression for me, and over the years we've seen, more problems with reflexes and cognitive function and pain.
Scary thing about MS is how unpredictable it is. I mean, you can wake up one morning and not see or not be able to use a limb, or another thing is balance and coordination. Sometimes I'll go to pick up something and I kind of stumble or fall, and it's discouraging sometimes, and a lot of people look at me and they say, oh, she's young, she's cute, she can do her hair, her makeup, nothing's wrong with her, but I don't feel the same, I'm a different me.
Another issue is just the uncertainty, because there is an uncertainty with this disease because it affects every person differently, especially early on, until one really has an understanding of what their individual course seems to be like. And again, there's never 100%, we're never at a point where we can 100% predict what's going to happen in the next number of years with somebody's MS. But they get a sense of what it's like living with MS. But before they do, the uncertainty of how it's going to affect them physically or cognitively or emotionally can be a difficult issue to face. And sometimes that's the most difficult issue, is just not knowing what's going to happen next, and learning to live with that uncertainty, I think often takes people, considerable amount of time.